What up, people? Nothing like a little bit of KFC. Not my favorite chicken, but it works. Actually, my favorite is Popeyes. Anyway, we're in the kitchen at the Peeps. We will be running the 5B this weekend, but before that, I just thought I would update everybody on what's been going on for the last week. Talk a little fifth scale, talk a little bit of nitro, talk a little trash, but back it up with facts. So, like I always do. But anyway, yeah, ain't nothing going down in this kitchen tonight. I was gonna hit the barbecue outside, do some burgers, but anyway, just finishing up house sitting, and we will go up to the upstairs computer room and do some unboxing and go over some stuff. So let me finish up. I got, by the way, my favorite side at KFC is the mac and cheese. I like the mashed potatoes and gravy. I also like the coleslaw, but I think mac and cheese is my favorite. So I usually go for the strip combo. You get the 3 strips, biscuit, mac and cheese. I got an extra mac and cheese and a soda. I don't know, $6-7, whatever it is. Anyway, it works. My favorite is Popeyes, though. If you know anything about Popeyes, Popeyes is the shizzle off my nizzle. Shizzle my nizzle. But this does kind of look, somebody told me that it looks like my my old man without the glasses. Anyway, hold tight. Let me finish my last mac and cheese, and we'll head up to the upstairs computer room and do some unboxing and go over some stuff. All right, people. Catch you in a minute. So, anyway, we got some goodies to unbox. Okay. Let me. Now, I want to start out by saying, because I get a lot of people that ask me questions about, and one thing I am going to unbox is definitely a game changer. So we'll open that first. Special shout out to OBR, Dan and Sean O'Neill Brothers Racing, are my 5th scale engine builders. But anyway, this was something that I wanted to wait because I wanted to run it normal. Okay. This is the modified 1242. So, is it a game changer? I don't know. We'll find out. That's for sure. So, there you go. The modified 1242. You can obviously see, look at that. I think it was not like that, but it was definitely not that big. That sucker is opened up. So, we are going to install that on the 5B. And here's the 5B over here. Now, I originally ran this, and if you guys noticed, I was running the black DDM cap because this was leaking. Well, the reason it was leaking is because the little zip tie puller that I made on it wasn't allowing it, the bottom piece wasn't allowing it to close all the way. Okay, so it wasn't closing. So that's what happened. And that's why it was leaking. But there's nothing, and I was like kind of bummed out because I thought there was something wrong with it. That's why I took it off. I was like, oh crap, it's leaking. And then later I noticed it was because of that. So I took that off, no problem. These caps are like 40 bucks, 30 something bucks. I was glad that there's nothing wrong with this cap. So we've got the cap back on. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to install the 1242 modified carb. And then I'll be back in a minute. Well, let's unbox this first. And then we'll cut. And then we'll come back. This is from DDM. And we're going to talk more about nitro. But like I said, as far as people ask me a lot, why don't you run a bigger engine? What's the biggest engine you can run on a 5B? Well, unless you want to cut the body out, if you put a bigger engine in the 5B, what happens is you got to run a different pipe, obviously. Like you can put a 60 in this if you want. It's going to be a lot more top heavy. It will handle like crap. You have to put the pipe on the outside because it won't mount. It's way too much. You risk destroying an expensive pipe. That's why a 34 is the biggest you're going to want to put in this. Okay, and somebody asked me, well, what about a 5T? Well, a 5T, you can put a bigger engine. I asked three people, and one of them was 1/5 RC. I asked him, what is the biggest, and he has close to 10 years solid in 5th scale, and he's got like, I think 8 platforms, including a 5T and a 5B and a Bedka. So he's got them all, okay? Elite has a 5T platform. He has the 5B. Big Johnny, he has a 5T. He has a 5B. He probably has like 30 vehicles. He's way out of control, Big John. I call him Big John. But anyway, so I asked Chris, 1/5 Garage, what is the biggest engine you can put in a 5T? And he told me, because obviously he has a 5T and he has bigger engines. 65 Supreme, I think, is the biggest one he has. He told me the biggest engine that you can put in a 5T without changing anything, bone stock, is a 40 to a 45. Now, he did say you can put in a little bit bigger, like a 50 or 60, but what's going to happen is you're going to destroy your outer drive cups, your diffs. They'll wear, and that's why a lot of guys that run 60s and 71s and the real big engines in the 5Ts, they're not 4-wheel drive. They're all converted into 2-wheel drive. I don't know. I asked a lot of guys, including Chris and other guys too, why can't somebody figure out how you can put a 60 or a 70 or RC Max or, or an ALX or whatever in a 5T, 4-wheel drive? He said, well, nobody has yet, because those engines will destroy the diffs, okay? Even if you put all aluminum and all that stuff, unless they're all titanium, they're going to destroy them. So anyway, because a lot of people ask me that question. So that's coming from somebody that owns a 5T and owns big engines. So just so you guys know, that's the biggest engine you can put in a 5T without changing a lot of stuff. And even if you change a lot of stuff, when you start putting the 50s and 60s and 70s and whatever in there, you're going to destroy the drivetrain. So I haven't seen any on video of anybody, with a 5T, with a 7. Well, there's a few guys have, but again, you ask those guys and they change diff cups all the time. So anyway, and then I also asked Chris about the Bedkas, and I asked a bunch of guys or a couple of guys that I know that owns the Bedkas. Bedkas are cool, the Kraken, or whatever you want, whatever it's called, Kraken, Bedka, but they're giant and heavy, and every time they run it, it costs them money because the parts are expensive, and they're big, heavy. They're big and heavy. Okay? And that's why I always tell people, the only race kit that you can build, because there is race kits. MCD has a kit that's a race kit put together already. But it's still an RTR. I don't care if it's a race kit. If it's already built, it's an RTR, ready to run. The 5B is the only race kit, because you can build the Kraken too. Okay? Or a Vedka too, but it's not a race kit. This is the only 5th scale race kit that you build that's not put together that's ever been made. So until then, I don't know if anybody will ever make one. And I also tell people I wish they would have done the same thing with this with the 5T. They would have made the 5T just like the 8T 4.0 Nitro Chuggy, but on bigger. It would probably be the baddest fifth scale ever made. But it's not. So even the 5T, even though it's badass, it's an RTR. It's already built. Doesn't handle, doesn't perform, doesn't jump, all those things like this thing. This is the only thing, the only fifth scale that handles, jumps, performs just like an 8 scale Nitro. Okay? It's the only one. 5T is a great vehicle, and I will eventually get one. But that's one of the main reasons I got this. So anyway, I'm not going to, this video, after this video, I'm going to cut right now. I'm going to install the carburetor. I'm going to go over a lot of the upgrades and goodies that I put on this thing over the last week or so, because there is a few changes. And then we'll talk more about Nitro. And then you guys will see a little short, I think it's 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of me, you know, a little bit of ranting, talking about Nitro. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll be right back. This is not a big deal. It's just another set of tires. It's funny, every time it doesn't matter what, most standard tires that you build are going to be about $200 for fifth scale. There's DDM. We got beadlocks. These are Mad Max, small like a pin, and these four are going to be so if I do decide to hit the track, I have something to run, because we're definitely not going to run the big old spiky tires. I also have, oh, I almost forgot, I finally got, these came really quick, a set of silverbacks. These came from Britain, overseas. These are silverback rims, so I got those. I already opened them. They're the same as the black ones I have. Hold on a second, except they're obviously, take one out, they're white. So we are going to build a set of white dish rims for the 5B. So anyway, we got the Mad Max foams in here. I'm going to put one of these together, and I'm going to install that carburetor, and I'll be right back. Hold that thought. Muggy on set, take two. We're back. All right, got the carburetor on. Had to have a little snack, starving like a hostage. If you've never had these, try them. Sam's Club, Costco's carries them. Sometimes they're hard to get. I guess they're popular. Now, two things that I really don't usually recommend, because as you guys know, I'd love to cook. I've been cooking for many years. But anyway, Philly cheesesteak isn't something you would normally think microwavable, or pizza. But I will tell you from personal experience, the best frozen pizza ever, in my opinion, is DiGiorno's, without a doubt, hands down. And I will add to that, these things are the best frozen microwavable Philly cheesesteak sandwich that I've ever had. These things are the shit. They're called Rayburns, but anyway, had to have something to eat. We have got a new, I've never tried, I think I've tried this before, I can't remember, Ultraviolet Monster, zero, no carbs. Okay, so before we get into, I'm going to kind of give you the updated rundown of where we are on the 5B as far as what I've done to it, any future plans that I have for it. There isn't a lot more to do to this thing except just run it, test it, tune it, and beat it up a little bit here and there. Or I should say, put it to the test. But anyway, the rims, I got one mounted. Made a huge mistake. On the beadlocks, I used the DDM ones, which are the same ones that I have on my Mad Max these things. There's an outer and an inner. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, or I wasn't. I ordered 2 sets of the inner, so we don't have the outer, so I got to send those back and get the outers. But anyway, that's what the tires look like. These are also Mad Max. They're Max pins. If I decide to do, and I probably will at least hit the track once or twice, you know, I don't think I'll ever do any pit scale racing just as much as I would do any nitro racing. I'm just not a racer. Doesn't mean I can't hit the track and you know, put this thing on the track and see what it does. But anyway, that's why I got these. If not, we'll just turn them into street slicks. But I think these things might bite in certain terrain. They weren't a bad price. I mean, like I said, most of the time when you're building any set or buying any set of fit scale rims and tires complete with the inserts, the beadlocks, and all that, you're going to pay anywhere from $200 to $300. I know the RC Max ones are $300. I might try those later. I'm not too sure if I, you know, I really just don't like the mags and the spokes. I like the dish. It's the reason I got, when I set this 5B up, I want it to look like an, you know, just a bigger version of an 8-scale nitro buggy. So anyway, that's why I went with the Silverbacks. They're not real hard to get. They're coming from overseas, Great Britain. Or the UK, I should say, which is Great Britain. But anyway, that's what they look like. I think the Silverbacks are kind of an off-white compared to the beadlocks. And I was going to do like I did on the on these rims and tires, where I mix the hardware, stainless, and then the regular. But I think it looks better because these are white, just to do them all black. So anyway, well, to be continued on this. Now I got to wait a few more days to get the outer beadlocks, or sometime next week. Anyway, carburetor is on. One thing I will say, I love these. One of the things that I love about the Power Stack, the OBR Power Stack, is that it has, let me take this off. When you run this triple filter on here, it's even hard to get it off, and it's not even tightened up. See how these triple filters have like ridges? And these have ridges too. This is not, once it's tightened, it's not coming off. Unlike a lot of the Velocity stacks that you see, there isn't those ridges. So some, you know, depending, I've seen a lot of people have issues. Once you put this on, because of those ridges, this thing ain't coming off, ever. I don't care if you crash it, roll it, whatever. So anyway, one of the upgrades that I did was, this is the Turtle Racing front clutch bell housing, and I also went with the inner part. So we did a full clutch bearing or clutch housing. Now I will tell you too, it's not just that it looks badass, obviously. That's, I mean, serious bling bling. You can, it's up to you. This is coming also from 1/5 and Elite. Either one of them, run the brace. You don't need to run the brace. As long as you have it nice and tight on the underneath it, on the mounting hardware, this thing ain't going nowhere. Okay, so I'm not going to run it. Plus, if your engine does come loose, you're pulling on your center diff. I'd rather not do that. I mean, like I said, it's up to you, your call. But anyway, I was talking to Steve at DDM. Again, the 5B, more kits will be available from DDM. He said around mid-May, mid to the end of May next month. So if you guys are looking to get another 5B, I mean, to get a 5B, or like me, and I know a couple other guys, I'm looking probably to pick up a second 5B. And I have some certain plans and things that I want to do. I will tell you that if I do get another 5B, it's not going to be a buggy. We're going to do some trickery to it. But anyway, that's in the near future. So the turtle racing, I was talking to Steve about him. I'm like, man, every time, not only when you now that I'm getting into fifth scale now, everything's bigger, but the prices are bigger. Everything's expensive. I mean, every time you pick up something, it's $100, $150, $200. He said, yeah, but you got to think of it. It was funny. Steve said, yeah, but you got to think of it, man. It's jewelry, man. The way he said it was so funny. And he's right. It is jewelry. I mean, that thing just looks sick. And we also did put I don't know if you guys can see it. I put the engine outerwears. I really didn't want to do it, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it on there because I really just don't like putting, the adhesive and everything on this badass billet aluminum case. But I noticed running it, especially if you're going to run it in the grass or dirt or whatever, it will get stuck. Even though there's ventilation and I don't think it's going to get sucked into the engine, you're still gathering a lot of crap underneath there. At least by having the outerwear, if I got to clean off the screen, I'd rather do that than have to dig it out of underneath the engine all the time. So anyway, we did that. But also on these, I don't know about the Vertigos, but on the turtle racing, and it made sense because all this billet aluminum, I don't know if you guys know this or not, all the billet aluminum, that's the only thing that OBR outsources. Okay, and let me just mention too, side note, OBR is one of the few, if not one of the only fifth scale engine modifiers and builders that do everything in-house. Okay? Other builders out there, and I don't need to mention any names, you guys will probably figure out who they are. Everything they do is outsourced. That's why their prices are a little bit more. OBRs are very well priced. They're doing everything in-house though. The only thing that they don't do in-house, like I said, is the turtle racing billet aluminum. That comes from Turtle Racing. They do it especially for them. So it's only fitting, since all the aluminum, the case and everything is by Turtle Racing, the reed, as well. Why not just go ahead and do the whole Turtle Racing front end? And this has an oversized bearing, just like the modified RC center diff also has an oversized bearing. Rotating mass, those of you that know what that is. So it serves its purpose. It just doesn't, plus it's a lot more ventilated. One of my new subscribers asked me, well, they said, hey, Muggy, what about getting rocks? You're not have to worry about pulling anything through here. Remember, this piece right here, there's nothing that goes through, okay? And the clutch bell, the bell right here, it's obviously enclosed, so you're not going to get any rocks and all that in there. It's kind of the same thing, well, not exactly the same, but similar to on a Nitro running a ventilated clutch bell and running an enclosed one. Plus, this will dissipate the heat, which means it'll release the heat instead of holding it in, because it's a little bit more open. But it looks badass. It's definitely worth $100 because the front part's 40 or 50 something, and then the rear is the same. So. But we got a 22 back on here, so we're running a 22 58. We're going to see what that, we know what that does, but now we have a next level OBR carburetor because, OBR is, taking it to another level, offering modified 1242. So anyway, but yeah, we've got there isn't anything really I need to add to this. I love it. Every time I look at this pipe, man, it just looks badass. And the cool thing about this is I don't have to put any wrap or nothing on it. Bare pipe, no issues. Remember, this right here, that isn't for looks. This is to shield from getting hot inside of there. And this pipe, like I said, I haven't had any issues with heating, melting on anything, the body, nothing. I also changed my pull start. I put this is a Turtle Racing. There was nothing wrong with the whole system. I'm still running the one that came on it from OBR. I've never had an issue with this, and until then, I'll just continue to run this pull start. Yes, there's probably other ones that are better, smoother, whatever. I have no problems with this, especially considering it usually starts on the first pull, maybe the second, since I've had it. But the handle was kind of tiny, even though I've got small hands anyway. This just fits better, so that's why I changed that. But other than that, those are the upgrades. So we got a brand new clutch bell housing, front and rear. Oversized bearings is what it comes with in it. Modified 1242 carburetor. And we will run those rims and tires when I get the outer bead locks. But anyway, one other thing I wanted to touch on, they have this by the same company that makes this, the dual servo brake holder here. Highly recommend this. Highly recommend, if you have a 5B, changing from the steel to the titanium. Okay, the only reason I don't want to put too much aluminum on it, because I mean I can go with the front aluminum carriers, rear aluminum carriers. The 5B is, you know, weighing around 35 pounds, or around 35 pounds, fully dressed. Okay, every time you add aluminum to it, you're putting more weight to it. Although this setting here, this setup here, I weighed it. The stock was like 7 point something. The stock TLR one that came on here. This one was like, or no, it was, this one was 7.4 ounces. The TLR one was like almost 9 ounces. So it's definitely a weight difference. This is actually lighter, and it has the oversized bearing. So the TLR one was obviously heavier. But anyway, every time you put aluminum on it, I learned this from a person that's not even in the game anymore. Usually, rule of thumb is you upgrade when stuff breaks, or because it's a performance enhancer, not just because it looks cool. Now, we've all been guilty of it, including me. There's a lot of stuff that I put on here where I probably don't even need. The plastic one, I've never heard a lead RC talking about he had an issue with it. Or 1/5 Chris, I think he has a plastic one as well. I think even Big Johnny might have a plastic one. But anyway, they make an aluminum body mount for the front and the rear. So I might get that, because these bodies, and when you roll them and stuff, the bodies will take a lot of punishment. So obviously these are too, but it's not important. But I definitely wanted this because of the larger bearing, and obviously it is lighter. By the way, Dan at OBR runs the same setup on his 5B. But anyway, we'll see how this new modded car works, and how it runs, and how it performs. And we'll see now with a 2258 setup what the whole deal is going to be like. Anyway, that will be coming up on the next I don't know if it's going to be part of this video, or there'll be another video that I'm going to upload separate from this. I don't know if I'm going to combine it. I guess you guys will find out when you're watching it, right? Also, too, if you're going to leave your pipe raw like this, make sure you coat it with something. I use MP, Amsoil MP metal protector. I'm going to run, I think, 1 or 2 more tanks of 28-1, and then we're going to, on the next gallon or 2 after that, or from now on, once I'm done with the last tank or 2, I think I have 1. I think I might have 2 more tanks left. I haven't even ran a gallon through this thing, man. I might have 2 more tanks. I think I have 2. I do have 2 and a half more tanks of 28-1. Then we'll do another mix, and we're going to go from 28-1. We're going to go to 32-1, which was recommended by 1/5 Elite, Dan also. So I'm going to go with those guys, since they have the experience more than me. They own 5Bs. They have these engines. So that's just me. You guys listen to who you want. Again, let me emphasize this again. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I only take advice from people that have or own or have ran the same thing that I have ran. Okay? If that person doesn't have a 5B, if they don't have this engine, it doesn't have to be exact to a T, but if they don't have a 32 Reed modded, they don't have a 5B, okay, I'm not really listening to them, or if I am, it's with a grain of salt. And that doesn't, not to discredit people that have tons of experience in fifth scale, but that makes about as much sense as somebody taking advice from somebody telling me about a Techno, or a 28.8 Rex Legend, or a Kyosho MP9 TKI4, or a modified LRP32, and they don't even own it. Doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about, but like I say, take that stuff that you hear on YouTube from all these people out there with a grain of salt, okay? Unless the guy is a professional racer, somebody that's experienced and has and owns and runs exactly what he's talking about from his own personal experience, then I wouldn't really give two shits about what they tell me. So that's just me, though. You guys do what you want. So anyway, that's what's going on with fifth. Another thing too, before we get into the nitro, I want to probably spend maybe another 5 minutes on this video. Tools. We always talk about tools in nitro. We talk about tools in general. In the game of fifth scale, you're gonna majority of the tools you're gonna use are 2.5, 3.0 millimeter, 4s and 5s. Okay, those are the main ones. Also, I will tell you, depending on what you're using it for, be careful, because even though if you don't own, first of all, if you don't own a pair of these DDM bit sets, okay, the long ones, I have the long and the short, I have ball end and regular, comes with this handle, and it also comes with the other handle. If you don't have these tools and you own a fifth scale, I don't know what the hell you're doing, or if you know what you're doing. That's like standard issue. That's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a person, like we say, don't just talk about it, be about it. Okay? The right tools. That, I don't know very many. I'm sure there is. Anybody that's in fifth scale that doesn't own, that's like one of the first things that I bought before I even got my 5B. Was that that thing is so handy. Now, is it the strongest? Are they the best bits? No. I've tweaked them. I've snapped them already. But I know what I can use them for and what I can't use them for. Okay? And that's another reason I invested in other tools, especially for fifth scale. 3 companies that I'm going to be using for my fifth scale, mostly. Okay? Klein. They're made in USA. If any of you know anything about tools, Klein, Bonduras or something like that is another. I think they're foreign, but Kleins are made in the USA. You can see down there on the bottom. Where's the tag at? It says it somewhere in here. Right there. Somewhere. I thought I seen a. I thought it said it on the thing. Probably says it on the wrench. $10mm Klein tools. I don't know. It says it somewhere. But anyway, Kleins are made in the USA. They're not China. They're not Taiwan. They're made in the USA. Okay? Now, the other ones that I'm starting to use as well is Fellow, I think I'm saying it right. Fellow, and Ouya. Okay, I have a few of them somewhere. I don't know what I did with them. The ones that I just invested in are these. They're like not even $10. The short, stubby ones, DDM, yeah, I snapped a 3mm. These are German. These are made in Germany. So I highly recommend, especially for fifth scale, when you're going to torque on stuff, you know, use good quality. You know, you do use what you want because you're going to experience it and get your own experience in the first place. But, you know, I highly recommend Ouya, Fellow, and Klein. Okay, from personal experience because I use them. These are going to be very hard to snap or bend. Okay, because it's German steel. It's not Taiwan. It's not China, man. This is German steel. Ouya is German steel. So is Fellow. And then, like I said, Klein are made in the USA. So, anyway, enough with the fifth scale. That's what's going on with that. There's not really much to upgrade it. I got a brand new Graphali body coming. That's the reason I got those rims, dish rims done. That I'm doing them in white, because it's going to go with the theme of the new body that I'm going to be painting for the 5B. So we got a brand new body coming. And other than that, there isn't really anything that I need to do to this thing except, like I said, run it, test it, tune it, dial it in, and just rip the thing. But there'll be probably something I'll think of that I'm going to get for it. So now, 8 scale nitro. You guys, right after this little segment here, you're going to see a little bit of the first firing of my RCR modded LRP 32 Spec 4 number 2. This is the second one that Lance at RC Renew modded for me. Not a big deal. Like I said, I'm not the kind to show, you know, break-in videos and, you know, stuff that there's tons of other people that are doing it and that have done it and that have videos of it way better than me. So we need another, you know, break-in video or another, you know, basic wrenching video or tuning video. Like, we need a hole in the head. If you want to learn how to tune, I highly recommend go watch JQ. JQ's video that he did about tuning and the carburetor thing is by far, to this date, the best break-in video that I've seen so far. Okay, and there's others, okay, but that one that he did is probably the best. So you watch who you want. I highly recommend you watch that video if you need to learn how to tune. Watch JQ's video. You'll learn a lot from it. Okay, so as far as break-ins, there's plenty of guys breaking in engines better than me. So I don't need to show you one, even though I did show you the fire up for the first time on this video coming up, giving it some throttle. Okay, now these are the best two baddest nitro 8 scale nitros I own. This thing fully, like, modded, everything that you can think of is on it. All the carbon fiber, all the titanium, all the aluminum is on this thing. The only other thing that I'll probably do to this thing, because it's got everything, is I'm gonna probably put brand new shocks on it, or at least put brand new bodies, because these aeration shocks, those are brand new. I just rebuilt the insides of them. I just don't like the bodies, because they're you know, when I bought it was used, so they're kind of scuffed up. So that's about the only thing that I might replace. Everything else I don't need to replace. This thing is gonna be nasty. That's why it's in here. I'm running for the carburetor. We're not running the X-Tech garbage. We're running the Novorossi carburetor. This one I didn't have to mill. There is certain Novorossi carburetors out there you don't need to mill, because they're actually a little bit, they're actually the right size. I don't know the part numbers, but I'm sure you guys can figure that out. I've got the 2148 Triton pipe on here. I think I'm running a 14 clutch bell. But anyway, that'll be coming up later. The reason I won't be running this probably anytime soon is because during the break-in, I think it's the first time I'm replacing the belt. Finally is worn out, so I got to replace the belt on that. That'll probably be here coming in the sometime next week. But anyway, but we definitely are going to run that. So you're going to see a video after this video of the 5B. But I was going to run some more nitro. I wanted to run this thing. It's broken in, ready to rip. But because of the belt issue, I'm probably not going to. This thing, this Kyosho and the Techno fit or work best on the on this bump box, because I have I'm looking at getting another bump box too. I like the blue Optima ones. I heard a lot of good things about those, so that'll be something coming up. We've got a couple more engines coming. I do have 2 more platforms that I'm looking at. I'm definitely getting another, this year I'll be getting another 8 scale nitro buggy and another truggy. Kind of have an idea what I'm going to be getting, but that could change. And obviously I don't need to get the new Techno truggy when it comes out, because it won't even be close to this. This thing has everything you can think of. The MTC chassis is just badass, and it is without a doubt the baddest 8 scale truggy that I own. So why not put the baddest 8 scale nitro engine ever made? Now let me leave you guys with this. If you don't own a modified 28.8 Rex Legend or a modified LRP32, if you don't own both of them and have never ran both of them, modified, and it could be by whoever, it doesn't have to be RCR, you have no idea. You are basically missing out in running the two most powerful, baddest nitro engines ever created in the history of 8-scale nitro. Now, some might argue with that, which means they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they don't even own them, because there's only two people, and I was just thinking about this too the other day, there's only two people that I know on YouTube that I've seen that are even relevant that own and have ran both of these engines on their channel. Now, one person, you can't consider that person because he has ran both, but not this engine. And you guys know who I'm talking about. He ran the Spec 3. At least I have never seen him run the Spec 4 on video. Well, he did his cousin's, but not actually his. So, at least me and Don Foss can actually say that we are the only two guys that own and have ran both of these engines on their channel. The 28.8 Rex Legend modified and the LRP32 modified. Now there's tons of people that have this one modified and have ran it, but don't have that one, and vice versa. But if you've never ran both of these engines, especially this one, ever, I mean, there's some guys that don't even own a Nova Rossi engine. But they're, you know, they think they're king shit on Turtle Island. They're a legend in their own mind. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in. If you, especially that engine, if you don't, because this one you can still get, obviously, even though you got to do a lot more stuff to it. If you've never ran a modified 28.8 Rex Legend, and I don't care who it's modified, but if you've never ran this engine ever, you do not know what you're even, I don't even know what to say. I would even consider you a true, full-on, nitro, braphead, whatever you want to call it. If you're a true nitro guy, a true blue 100% nitro guy, and that might be part of it too, because there's not very many of those, because a lot of guys do E-word and planes and all that other stuff. Me, I don't. I only do straight nitro and pit skill, and that's all you'll ever see on my channel. I think I told you guys this before. You will never see an electric vehicle of any type ever on my channel as long as my channel's up and it exists. Never, ever, ever, ever. Ever. Period. End of story. And I don't care. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually almost at 800 subscribers. Oh my God. Who knows? I might hit 1,000 by the end of the year. Do I care? Hell no. I could care less. But anyway, to get back to what I was talking about, if you don't never ran a modified 28.8 Rex Legend, you have no idea. You're basically, in a nutshell, missing out at running the most powerful, baddest, nitro, top quality engine ever made. Is this engine have more power than that? Well, it depends who you ask. I've told you guys plenty of times. I know, you know, Lance has ran them and dynoed them and ran them both. The only difference between these two, besides the size and a lot of other things, but the main difference as far as power-wise, this LRP32 modded by whoever even puts a perfect mod on him, if there's such a thing, will spank the 28.8 bottom and mid, but top end, this will get it. Top end, this engine will, or not top end, I'm sorry, top end, that engine will get it. The LRP32 modded will spank the 28.8 Rex Legend, bottom end and mid, but after like 30-40 feet or whatever, the 28.8 Rex Legend modded will walk away from the 32, okay? So, and I have both, so I could tell you the same thing. I've got 2 of these, and I've got 4 of those, and all of them are modded, okay? So, again, let me emphasize this again, because I know there's a bunch of people out there that don't even have this engine, let alone have it even modified. Okay, they're still out there, if you look. They're not, like, extinct yet. There's a couple that I just seen. Now, they're a little bit pricey, yes, but they're still out there. So, again, if you've never ran a modified 28.8 Rex Legend, you have basically missed the boat on running the baddest, best quality, total package iconic, legendary nitro engine ever made. Now, you can run this thing stock all you want, and yes, it is badass stock. But modified, it's a whole different animal. How do I know? Like I said, I have 4 of them that I ran stock, and I have them modded now. So, anyway, I'll end with that. That's probably another 30, 45 minute video, whatever, for you guys. Coming after this one will be, right after this video will be a little bit of the break-in of this. Yes, it is a badass engine, but the quality isn't there. This engine will not last half as long as a 28.8 Rex Legend. So, we're fitting but to have the baddest nitro engine ever made, a modified 28.8 Rex Legend, in my opinion, the baddest truggy on the market. Okay? Even though they're coming out with a new one. Mine is badass, so. Alright, man. Well, that's all I got. Just wanted to throw that in. Again, let me emphasize, if you got 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers and you're not getting a 50 to 60, at least a 50% view average, your videos suck balls. Stop doing videos. Take a look at what you're doing. Change something, okay? And shout out to the thumbs down, because it's still a view to me or anybody else. And shout outs to the normal 1/5 RC, Garage, Big Johnny, Dan and Sean at OBR. Special thanks to them for the modified and this badass engine. Shout out also to Elite RC, my brother from another mother. And that's all I got. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Take 3. Time to give her some brat. Oh! Fat as hell. See you when I see ya. Remember, heat is your friend. One thing I will say, it is, yes, a polished turd, but it is probably the baddest, biggest polished turd. Remember, my shit anyway is modified by RC Renew. So, 2 things in 8 scale nitro. In order, this is just my muggy ranting, but most people will agree. 2 things in 8 scale nitro that you must own as far as engines. The 2, okay? Modified, obviously, would preferably. You want the 2 baddest engines ever made in 8 scale nitro. You know, it's the LRP 32 Spec 4 modified and the 28.8 Rex Legend modified. Now, there's a couple others, but those 2, if you own one of them and not the other, you don't count in my book. So if you say, and those that say they're full-fledged 8 scale nitro crap heads, gear heads, you're a real true bona fide, or if you want to be legit in nitro, you must, and I can't emphasize this must own 2 of the baddest engines ever made in 8 scale nitro. 28.8 Rex Legend, LRP .32. That's it. End of discussion. End of story. If you own one and not the other, no bueno. You ain't shit. So, you want to be full legit. Like I said, this muggy rules. You want to be full legit, okay, in 8 scale nitro, you have to own those 2 engines. No ifs, ands, or buts, period. So anyway, she will be another ripper. Not the best quality. Probably won't last as long as my 28. Well, I know it won't last as long as my Italian 28s, Pico and Rex Legend, but she is nasty, nasty, nasty. These engines, modified by the right person, okay, are badass. So, that's it. End of story. Peace out. Talk to you guys later.